Welcome back. As I told you, we are talking about historiography and the development in West. West means what exactly? West means I told you Western countries, right? Now, by the 18th century, Europe had shown enormous progress in literally each and every field. It may be art, literature, architecture, okay, or economy. The economy had flourished like anything. European countries had become very rich countries, and most important was the science. A number of inventions had taken place in Europe by the European scientists, and these helped in the overall progress of what Europeans. Now, because of scientific progress and philosophical progress, the way of thinking of these people changed. Earlier, these people had a different approach. Okay, the philosophies were based only on divinity, means God, and religion. Even the mythological stories which are told in the Holy Bible were more discussed in Europe. But by 18th century, because of progress in each and every field, the approach of Europeans drastically changed. Now even historians started putting more focus on human deeds, human history and human historiography. Understood? And so the focus changed from divinity and religion to human deeds. How human life progressed in all these years, that was discussed by the philosophers, and they took help of scientific research. Scientific methods were used to verify historical facts, and that was a very path-breaking, you can say, okay, or a first step towards modern historiography. Not only that, in 1737, in Göttingen, the first university which had a department of historical research started in Germany. Later on, many such universities started in Germany which had departments for historical research and historiography. In this way, because of advancement and progress in all the fields, including what? Science, modern historiography came into existence, especially in Europe. Now, we'll also talk about the different scholars present in Europe who contributed in modern historiography. Now, out of the different names, some names I'll tell you. One is René Descartes. Okay. Second is Voltaire. Then Karl Marx, Hegel. Okay. These are some famous, notable historians or scholars who contributed to the modern historiography. In the beginning, I'll first talk about René Descartes. See, René Descartes gave a theory, gave an idea, gave a concept that he insisted that without verifying historical documents, okay, without verifying historical documents, they should not be accepted. The historical research or historical documents should be critically examined. Critically examined, then only they should be accepted. Okay, and he wrote a book based on these ideas, and that book was named as Discourse on the Method. What? Discourse on the Method was a book written by René Descartes. Also, he gave an idea that you should never accept anything for true until all grounds of doubt are excluded. What is the meaning of this? We should not accept any fact or any idea, any theory, until and unless all the doubts in our mind are cleared. Understood? And this is a very great statement given by René Descartes, which can be even applied today in our day-to-day life. Unless we verify all the facts, we should not accept a particular event or particular thing. We have to verify it. So in this way, René Descartes was the first, you can say, first person, notable scholar who contributed to modern historiography. Now we talk about the second notable scholar, and his name is Voltaire. His actual name, Voltaire, was from France. Okay, he was French. His actual name was Francois Marie Araud. Francois Marie Araud. Okay. Now, why we give importance to Voltaire? See, Voltaire said that okay, it's important that we should verify the documents, and we should be putting more efforts on what getting the objective as well as the history. He said that okay, historical events which were taking place, they should be studied. Okay, but one should not neglect other fields. Even research should be done on these fields like social traditions, economy, trade, agriculture. Even these have to be studied as a part of what history, as a part of what history. Then only we can come to know the progress of mankind or progress of human race. And this opened the eyes of what? Historians. It was not necessary only to study the wars or the political leaderships and other kings or queens which happened in the history. Our day-to-day life, okay, should also be the focus of historical research, because our life is directly related to what? Historical traditions, okay, our traditions, social, our society, then our trade, our economy, agriculture, and many such things which are a part of human life. Even they had to be properly researched. Their history has to be also included. Okay, these were the idea of Voltaire, and it gave a new route, new way for what? Modern historiography. As I told you earlier, history means what? It includes each and every part of human life. It may be science, it may be economy, it may be trade, it may be literature, art. Each and every part has got a history. Any event which happened in the past can be termed as history. That's why, because of his ideas, Voltaire is said to be the founder of modern historiography. Okay, this comes as a fillip. Dash is called as the founder of modern historiography, and the answer is this Voltaire. Okay. Okay. Let's now talk about the third notable scholar, whose name is George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. What? George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. He was a German philosopher. Now, what ideas given by Hegel proved to be very, very famous or proved to be important? See, Hegel insisted that the historical reality has to be presented in a very logical manner. Okay, there should be logic behind the presentation of historical facts, historical realities. Okay. Secondly, he proposed that the timeline of historical events give us idea of the progress of human race. Okay. So timeline of historical events is an indication of human progress. When we study the events in a chronology means what? In a sequence, we come to know the progress of human race. Now, he said that presentation of history, one historian has written something, okay, his presentation will be bound to change in the coming years. As new evidence come in front, the new historians will add those evidences, and the presentation of a given historical facts is bound to change in future. Okay, I repeat, the presentation of history or historiography is bound to change over the years as new evidence come forward. And many scholars were convinced with this theory. Secondly, he said that the historical methods are no less than scientific methods. Although there's a difference, I told you na, scientific methods are totally different compared to historical methods. But at the time, great importance was given to the scientists who discovered or who invented machines and all, because that was directly used in the day-to-day life or day-to-day purpose. And that's why great importance was given to the scientific researchers and less importance was given to what? These historical researchers. This person, Hegel, convinced the researchers that they are not less than scientific researchers. Historical methods were not less than scientific methods, although their quality is different from that of what? Scientific methods. Secondly, all his lectures, all his articles were published in a book called as Encyclopedia of Philosophical Sciences. Encyclopedia of Philosophical Sciences. This was a book in which all his articles and lectures were published. Also, Reason in History, the book written by Friedrich Hegel, Reason in History, is also well known. So two names you remember, one is Encyclopedia of Philosophical Science, okay, and second is Reason in History. These two are the famous books of Friedrich Hegel. Now, Friedrich Hegel, as I told you, he was a philosopher. He gave a very important concept. See, any event which takes place, human brain cannot understand it completely unless he talks about the true facts and the false facts, okay, the good and the bad. Understanding? So whatever idea is proposed, that should be discussed. That is called as thesis. That is called as what? Thesis. Another person will give another idea, okay, and that will be called as antithesis, which will be exactly opposite to the given idea or given concept, okay. Thesis and antithesis. There should be discussion, arguments, debates over the thesis and antithesis, okay, and this will lead to final conclusions, which will be the addition of thesis as well as antithesis, and that will be called as synthesis, okay. So when we say synthesis, synthesis is the addition of the thesis, the points of thesis as well as points of antithesis, and that will give you the complete idea, which will be called as what? Synthesis. Understood? This was the idea proposed by Friedrich Hegel. He said that to understand a particular fact, we should know the good things as well as the bad things, the true facts as well as the false facts, and then only human brain or human mind can understand the concept completely.